been a while, but it was a lot of fun. I was here with Nelson Emerson last night, so we got to sit and enjoy the game and visit with some of the people we haven't seen in a long time.
What do you think of this year's squad?
They played hard last night. Played really hard. I mean, to be able to go out and beat a Notre Dame and to play against a Notre Dame is pretty amazing. So they were excited, and they'll have a tough task again tonight.
Can you talk about the recruiting process and what brought you to Beach Issue to play hockey?
A long time ago?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, it was, it was funny. I have my nephew is playing AAA right now, and their team takes a tour every year of the university, so we decided to arrange it this weekend. So they're all down, and they were in this room here this morning, and the coaches were both talking to them about that. At the time when I came to college, I was drafted by Junior A in Sault Ste. Marie back home, and they suggested I play another year at junior, and I ended up playing in Stratford, where Nelson had played before me, and Kevin Dahl and Mark Potvin, three guys that played here. And I kind of followed their footsteps, not knowing much about college and that, but fortunately it brought me this direction into this school. So, but that was kind of the thoughts I had to share this morning with these young kids looking to do the same thing.
Talk about your time at Bowling Green. What was it like to wear the black and orange to be a Bowling Green Falcon for you?
Yeah, no, it's and that came back to me a little bit last night. Obviously I've been away for quite a while, and to be able to step back and see the students and their excitement before the game, and just understand what it means to be a Falcon, and how proud, at the time I was going through it, and now to be able to come back and to see kids doing the same type of thing. It's an amazing experience, a great school, prepares you for, your life after not just hockey, but living also. And, there's some fond memories with that.
What are some of those memories, some of your more fond memories up that you get going?
I think just being able to skate out there. I laughed at the warm-up the other day again when they announced the visiting team, and the fans hold up the newspapers and their little sayings when you get a penalty and stuff. Things like that. They're pretty good memories. I had dinner last night with Bill Lloyd, a longtime Falcon fan. Used to sit behind the penalty box, him and his wife, and to be able to revisit with some of these people and stay in touch, makes it special.
When you were playing here,
Thanks.
did you have an understanding that you might have the kind of career you've had in the NHL?
Yeah.
In your mind?
Well, I definitely had no understanding of any of that, and I had no understanding of playing college. I was sitting last night with Nelson, and I'm watching the kids sing at the end of the game to the fans, and how excited everybody. And I said, Nelson, imagine if we knew what we know today when we played here. And he goes, we probably wouldn't have done anything. It was so good that we didn't understand anything. All we did was we went out, and our job was to play hockey. As far as the years at Bowling Green, I didn't know what the next step was. I wanted to play in the NHL, but whether that was going to come true or not, I wasn't sure. So, but all that came out kind of this weekend when I'm back here and understanding the steps that we're taking.
Just talk about the whole process of the whole campaign that brought you back this weekend. What do you just talk about that?
Yeah, well, obviously the Bring Back the Glory campaign, and we played here at a real special time when the hockey was at one of the highest levels. They won the championship in '84, a few years after a few years before I got here, and I think the outcry of the people to keep hockey and to remain a major sport here has come out the past years, and I think it's going to be great. Whatever's led up to this, and that I can put that aside and move forward. I had a real good meeting with the coaching staff here the last few days, and excitement, enthusiasm. You talk about it, they have that, and they want this program going in the right direction. And I think the rest of us stepping up to help. Everybody with a combined effort can put it back. That's the big thing for us.
Since your time at Bowling Green, how much have you followed BG? Just looking either in the papers or looking up online, have you followed your old school that much?
Yeah, I think if any college team I'd ever follow would be obviously with Bowling Green, and with Nelson and I being close friends, Nelson Emerson, and living in LA, and when I played in LA, he was coaching in LA. He's always had a development part of it where he deals with colleges and college kids, so he keeps us up to date on the progress of Bowling Green and things. And for quite a few years after, I don't know how, but my number kept getting passed down to the seniors, and whenever there was a sweep on a weekend, I would have a message early Sunday morning, so kind of kept me into it also.
What was it like? Have you ever ran into like a fellow Bowling Green player in the NHL ranks?
Yeah, see, there's like a little common bond, and it's funny, I was gonna talk about that later tonight, at our little, gathering, but my first game I played, was against the Winnipeg Jets. So I mean, I was here, the next day I flew to LA, and we're playing Winnipeg Jets, and in warm-up, Dave Ellett skates by and says something about the Falcons. So, you know, there's that common bond that, I didn't know Dave Ellett, but I knew he played at Bowling Green, and now that I've gone through 20 years and met players, coaches, announcers, fans, there's always something special if you were a Falcon. That's kind of what you get related back to, whether they played it in, you know, their memories and of different spots, whether it be Mark's Pizza Pub or Broadhouse or, you know, the ice arena. I mean, there's so many different memories, and you have a common distinction if you're a Falcon, and you know, that carries wherever. It carries from here out to the West Coast.
You guys got anything else?
Yeah,
How
what-
about,
what-
go ahead.
What's next for you?
Well, that's the thing. I've been pretty. I've stepped back here for a little bit, and you know, enjoyed the family time and that. But I've gotten a little anxious, and I will most likely start working with the NHL here in the next few months, a little more after Christmas and things, and more in the hockey operations and, you know, the league going forward in that. But I want to remain in it. I want to try a couple different avenues. I want to try that. I would maybe possibly do a little bit of announcing and different things. But you know, you come back and you talk to the coaches here, and that's a whole other avenue. So there's some things I don't really have it narrowed down, but I do want to stay in the game as much as possible.
Do you miss playing?
As far as playing the game, no. I mean, I watched that game last night, and these guys are hitting each other, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm sitting up top here to watch it. I mean, I've had my share of that and that, but I do miss the excitement of being around hockey and the passion that hockey brings from fans.
Talk about the different atmosphere between playing in the college locker room with the college group of guys as opposed to the NHL.
Yeah, well, there's a professional business aspect of it. And, you know, as far as the teammates and everything, everybody's together. This thing you have that's special in college is, for the most part, you hang out with those guys all day long. When you get to the NHL, it becomes a business. You show up, you do your job in the morning, in the afternoon. You know, you do your game at night. There's family time. There's a lot of different things that pry players away from each other. But as in college, collectively, you're one big family, and you remain that way throughout the season. So those friendships, you know, they carry on for a lifetime.
Is that similar at all with the international experience?
Yeah, the college is very similar to international. And the fact is, when you play in those international tournaments for the most part, it's just the players. You go for a 2 or 3 week, you know, tour of Europe or tournament in Europe, and you're together, and you're getting up and you're putting your sweats on, you're going to practice, you're doing the same thing same routine you would do in college. You're eating in, you know, a facility similar to a dorm. You're staying there with roommates and that. So yeah, those are very similar to what a college atmosphere would be.
What's that feeling like to play for your country, pull the sweater down?
That's one of the probably more memorable. I mean, you know, you grow up and you think about it, and you watch, you know, the Canada Cup. At the time I grew up, Canada Cups and that. Now, you know, kids are watching the Olympics, which is amazing that, you know, the NHL players are allowed to play in that. But to be able to pull the jersey on of your country and know that if you win an Olympic medal, you've got a whole country. Whereas suppose you win a Stanley Cup, it's great, don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable feeling. But there's only one city that's really happy about that. The rest of them aren't. But when you win for your country, you know, you walk around, and that's something people talk about forever.
Did you get through all these years in pretty good physical shape with all the hits and so forth?
Yeah, I didn't have to walk too far, so it didn't look too bad. No, I did. I got through it all right. I mean, there's been some injuries, and you know, as far as the past 3 or 4 months, I'm almost more sore now because I have stopped working out. You know, before you train your body on a daily routine and you prepare for the season and everything. And, you know, the past few months I've kind of just stepped back from that, and I can feel these aches and pains a little more. But from what I've heard from more retired guys, that goes away soon, hopefully.
When was the last time you skated?
I skate with my kids. Nelson and I both coach our kids out in LA, so that's about the extent of that skate. Isn't very hard. It's more just putting the skates on and standing there. So.
You guys got anything else?
Last night, I was one of the fans that came up to you, many of the fans that came up to you last night at the game. Can you like describe the feeling like it's being like kind of a legend here in Bowling Green over the years of the past several decades?
Yeah, that was funny. Nelson and I were kind of talking of that. Like I said, we didn't understand what we were getting into when we came here, or you know what to expect. I mean, we wanted to play hockey, wanted to continue that, we wanted to continue our education and it combined together. But I think at the time, the way hockey was idolized here, I mean, people, they expected hockey to do well and be well, and when that success came, the players carried that with them. So, it was fun for us to see, but it's also fun to talk to these guys that are playing here and explain to that to them that this is a great opportunity in your life to shore things up and go and have a career that can take a lot of paths after.
You talked a little bit about coaching your kids out in LA. What has that meant to you to help try and promote a game out west where it's not really known as well?
Yeah, and I experienced that 20 years ago when I first moved out there. I mean, there was no youth programs in that, and that was the time when Wayne Gretzky was out in LA. He had just got traded to go to LA, and all of a sudden these kids wanted to start playing hockey, but there was no ice rinks, so they played roller hockey. And it was evident. I was watching it up and down the streets and the tennis courts and that. And now you're looking at some of these kids being drafted in the first round because of the popularity of hockey out there. And most of those kids will say they started on roller hockey. So as soon as the Kings and Gretzky and that had a little success, the popularity grew. And now when I go to that youth program, and Nelson's been coaching and running the program there for a couple of years, and he's taken teams back east here. He's taken them to Canada, and they're competing in all these tournaments and producing players at NHL level now.
You talked about wanting to get into hockey more on the operations side. Is there a particular level that you want to get involved with, NHL, college, or do you want to help, foster that youth movement for hockey?
Well, it's a combination of both. I mean, obviously with the youth in California, I sit on a board now there and trying to help give a little direction to where to take these teams, and now that these players are capable of producing. But for the most part, I would remain with the NHL itself now, just because I'm familiar with that for the past 20 years, and I think I have a good idea, a good sense of what the players want. And then when you see the NHL and the way it works, from the business side, they may have questions that they don't really know how to answer because they haven't had players in that position. So Brendan Shanahan stepped up and done a great job during the past year and a bit of that. And, if I can help out in that way, it would be good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.